So I just finished mixing a punk record, and these are the real drums. And this is the final result. Let me show you exactly how I got there. This is part of a series where I break down the entire drum mix. And in this video, we start with the kick. So the kick, I recorded with a kick in and a kick out mic. Nothing fancy. I think it was an Audix D6 on the outside. And I put a Sennheiser, that flat one. I'm really bad with these kind of names. I don't give a fuck about the gears, names, and they just need to give me results. And the kick in sounded like this. I really like this kick. It has, I don't know, the tuning, the skins it got, it just has some kind of snap to it. And you can hear it on the kick in, right? Kick in, kick out. This is just a mic, no processing on. I bypassed everything except for the main bus limiter here, right? The first thing I always do, I use auto align. Auto align is the shit for getting your mics to enhance each other. Get these things into phase and the low end will be happy. But be smart about it. If you align everything right, the overheads, room mics, which are 50 feet away, that will sound really weird. But with that said, you always need to keep in mind the phase relations between these microphones when you're dealing with live drum recordings, because they can fuck up your sound, right? If you're not careful and know what you're doing. So you need to watch this series so you know what you're doing. Anyway, this was recorded in a fairly small room, live room. I think I have some footage I'll show you on screen as well. Pretty dead space, not a huge room. So if you want a huge drum mix, yeah, you need to enhance that with plugins, which I did because I like big drums. So auto align. Next, drum leveler. This is one of these staple plugins you need when you're mixing drums. It's a compressor, not really a compressor. It just evens out performances, and also a gate. So I'm not going to run through all the options of the plugins, otherwise this will be a 3-hour long series. But drum leveler levels your drum performance. Great. So let's get these up and running, and with the two mics combined, you get this. So gated, short, around 50 milliseconds. Gated, I didn't gate it all the way down, but you can hear that it's really tight, and we need tightness. At the other microphone, yeah, I did almost the same. Put the compression up to 100%. It's not really compression, it's more like upward expanding. It will expand the sound to this target level. And if you put it on 50%, it will pump it up to 50%. But I like my kicks hard, because when you're adding a wall of guitars and you have 50% or 20% kick drums, you won't hear it. It won't get through. Okay, then on the kick in, virtual channel, nothing on this one. This seems to do almost nothing as well. I have some parallel compression on the FG Stress. This is also a plugin I always freaking use. Love these distressors. You can see I smacked it with the fast attack, but I put the mix knob at 48%, so that gives me a compact sound. Also, I boosted for 50 hertz on the kick-in mic to get more low end, and even more 200 hertz to give it even more low mids, right? So the whole thing bypassed. On. Kick out. So auto align, drum leveler. What's happening here? Let's see. This is doing nothing. This is compressing, but the mix knob to 39%. This is doing nothing. It's sometimes I just go in, compress the shit out of it, mix. Listening to it the next day, and I think, oh, I just used a little bit too much compression. And then I'll go back in, dial everything back. And that's probably what happened here. Transient designer, I put it on the low frequency. I just wanted a bit more. This plugin, you can put in the exact frequency you want to enhance the transient, so low frequency, and also the sustain a little bit back, so I get a really great short sounded kick. In and out. We need in and out. Okay, but be careful how much you put this in, otherwise it will sound a bit off. So don't overdo that. So at the end of the kick out mic, I put on a Pro Q3, cut off the lows, pretty steep, and 600 hertz and up. Also low pass filter over there. So you get, instead of this, and then if you combine the top mic, or sorry, if you combine the kick in, then you get that high-end snap you need to poke through guitars, right? So the kick out is giving me most of the thump, right? The kick in also gives me some low end, but the most comes from the kick out. And why I do this is because I want to make sure that there's no high end from cymbals or whatever coming through that mic. So it gives me more control over the total sound, right? I'm gating this microphone, and for some reason the gate opens or too long or whatever, yeah, you can hear cymbal bleed coming through. That's not what I want. I want maximum control. So this mic doesn't need to give me high end. The high end comes from the kick in mic, which also has a natural shield from other parts of the drum instrument, right? That's why I do that. Okay. And so to a drum mix is always a combination of all the microphones, right? So if you're working with drum libraries where the samples are all recorded one at a time, you don't have any bleed, right? But when you're recording a live drum kit, you have a shit ton of bleed, which you have to work with. And then these kind of tricks come in handy, so you have control over the total sound. With that said, if you want to try out the free Red Pack Drums drum sample library, the Mahogany, first link in the description, download it for free. But this is a drum library, much easier to mix than real live drums. Okay, let's go on. These two feed into this bus, and what do we have there? Another virtual mixing rack. I really love Slade's digital stuff. You can see that. Okay, you can see this one is hitting the virtual channel pretty hard, and that's also another way to compress the sound, right? Clipping is another way to even out the sound, even out the performance. This was a really good drummer, but also his kick was not that even the whole time. He did really fast parts with a single foot. That's pretty difficult if you ask me, but still in the mix, yeah, you need much more clarity with the whole band playing. I really need to even out the drum sound, the kick sound. Okay, so slamming this thing, 1.5 kilohertz boost for snap. This is doing nothing. This is more compression, not a really high ratio, and a medium fast attack and fast release. This is doing nothing. This is doing nothing. Great. Then comes trigger. So I used a sample here, and I missed in the mix and during recording the consistency of the high end. So I put in just a one shot at 40%. 100%. Live drum, 40%. That's just one kick sample I like. It's nothing with velocity layers, I just needed the one shot for the snap, for the clarity. We have a boutique kick drum trigger pack, expansion pack on the website. If you're a Trigger 2 user, you can pick it up for free. Second link in the description. After that, even more snap. So this is where I call it the wet kick drum lives. Pop, 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 smack. 1.5 kilohertz and a bit more at 4 kilohertz snap. Infinity bass. So let's... Infinity bass, more low end. And we have a clipper going on. BSA clipper. Barely hitting it, just to be sure the main limiter is not working too hard. Okay, this is routed into the drums bus, which also gets processed. Okay, that was the kick for now. Next video, snare.